Hi everyone, Danny Bader here, and I'm excited to welcome you back to yet another episode of our podcast, 11 Minutes to Inspiration, where we offer you information, some interviews with some really cool people, and simply observations for your consideration that are all designed to support you in being inspired to continue creating a happy and fulfilling life. Because after all, that's why we're here, right? Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of 11 Minutes to Inspiration. I'm really excited. I have my new friend here, Chris Pan. We were put together by a friend of ours where we both did some speaking at their company, Connie. And as fate would have it, I happen to be in Los Angeles, which is where Chris lives. So welcome, Chris. Thanks for making this happen.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know Chris's story, but it's a really interesting one, and I think it will certainly plant some seeds of inspiration for you. Chris worked for a little while for Facebook. So why don't you give us a little history as to how long you were there and what you did there?
I was there from 2007 to 2012, mostly working on helping more users get on Facebook. But the most exciting part was getting to work directly with Mark Zuckerberg, helping him learn Mandarin. So I did that for about a year, where I spent 2 hours every week working with him directly.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful, inspiring person to work with.
I'll bet he is.
Yeah.
I'll bet he is. And then what was the transition out of
I just had this feeling that my time was done, and it was
a lightning bolt or any of that kind of stuff?
It was just like, I've been doing it for 4 years and ready for the next chapter.
Yeah.
Didn't know what that was, but I had that intuition that was time to leave, and then I took some time off to travel and was searching for the next thing. It was a big moment because I think for most of my life I was seeking a certain level of success, financial freedom.
Sure.
And I had achieved it, but then I was like, what do I do with my time and energy then?
Right.
What would you do if you didn't have to worry about money? If you could do anything you want with your time? And as I started searching for an answer, the question I kept asking was, well, what do I think the world needs more of? And having grown up in a family that fought a lot, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, which, being Chinese, it was pretty difficult. Was bullied a lot, and so I thought the world could use more kindness, more compassion, more empathy. And so I wanted to work on a project that would bring those qualities into the everyday.
Got it. So then that project, My Intent, was born.
That was the original intention, and then about a year later, the project was officially born. It took me a little over a year to sort of figure out how I was actually going to execute on that.
Right, right. Yeah, so My Intent, for those of you that don't know, you'll know after this, is why don't you just give us the quick
So I'd love to take you guys on a little
summation of what it is.
A little journey. We're going to play a little game, and that game is, if I were to make you a bracelet with a single word, and we would put that word on a bracelet, what would your word be? So the word is just to be a word of intention. It's meant to remind you to be the best version of you. And I'll give you 3 questions to think about what your word would be. If you want to take a deep breath in with me.
I'll do it with you.
All right, let it out. One more. And then last breath in. Let it out with a big smile. All right. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, think about someone you admire, and then think about why you admire them, and think about a virtue that you want to bring into your life. Who do you want to be? So do you want to be more patient? Do you want to be more kind? Do you want to be more gentle? Think about what's a quality or virtue that you want more of in your life. All right. So you can write this down. You can chew it over the next few hours, next few days. There's no rush. But I'll give you the second question, which is, think about the biggest challenge in your life right now, and think about what it's going to take to overcome that challenge. And so this I think about as, what do you want to have? Is it you need more strength? Do you want to have more courage? Do you want to have more compassion? What is it? Yeah, have more peace. What do you want to have more of in your life? More abundance. Okay, so the third question I'll ask is, this is more fun. It's, what do you want to do? So what makes you feel alive? What are you passionate about and you want to spend more time on? Because there's so much coming at us. There's so many things that, distract us and call for our attention, but we all have that thing that lights us up. And I remember a story, back in January of 2016, I met someone who, I was taking her through the process, and she ended up coming across the word dance because she moved to LA 4 years prior, but she ended up getting, sucked up into this, into that, and she moved here to dance, but she wasn't doing it at all.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's sort of refocusing her back on her purpose and why she came to LA. And so that serves also as a nice basis for what a lot of people choose. It's like,
So
I want to
her
create
words
more.
was dance.
Yeah, I want to create. I want to write. I want to sing.
Sure.
Because by doing those things that makes us feel alive, then we're able to be the best version of us and be pleasant around other people. Quite honestly,
which the world needs more of that, right?
Yeah. When we feel alive, we're just a joy to be around.
Yeah. It reminds me of that quote, and it's always around, is that you don't stop dancing because you grow old. You grow old because you stop dancing.
Exactly.
Right? And we can fill in skiing or scuba or surfing.
Whatever it is that you got to
Dancing.
remember to do so that you're not living until you're retired to do the fun thing because
Right.
you could do it now.
So what should our listeners do now? They've got the seeds for three words.
If you want to then think about, okay, of those 3 words that you may have come up with, what's the one that resonates the most that you think will help you? If you think about when you wake up tomorrow morning, what do you want to see on your wrist that's going to get you to jump out of bed and tackle that thing that is the thing that you've been procrastinating on, for example.
Yeah. No, I'll just share my word is spirit. That I got 2 of these off the website, I guess about 3 weeks ago when we were introduced, and I got one for me and I got one for my sister, who is going through a big challenge in life with my brother-in-law, and they got a lot of courage and all. But I think for Trish and I, to have spirit, because that's the sense of energy and strength for us.
Yeah.
Have
you given it to her already?
Oh yeah, I've given it to her. Yeah.
Yeah. How was that interaction?
It was very cool.
Yeah,
she loved it. Yeah,
That's
she
great.
loved it. Yeah.
I think the second part. So the first part of this process is finding your own word.
Yes.
I would say the second part is activating it, which is you sharing with other people, because that's going to reinforce to you, every time you say it to yourself or you say it out loud, that helps you remember to do it, and also inspires other people around you.
Right.
And then the third part is holding space for someone else. So it's service. So asking other people what their word would be. Right? Because when you do that, one of 2 things will happen. One is you're providing a moment of reflection that most of us don't get because we're so busy, running around to reflect and think about what is most important, and then you'll learn something about that person, and you'll have a deeper connection that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Right. No, I like that. What was your first word?
First word
When did you make your first? When did you make your first? Was it a bracelet? Was the first
it was
one?
a bracelet
Necklace?
at my birthday party in 2013.
2013.
So I had a friend that came and made a bracelet for me.
Yeah.
And the word I chose was impact, because for about a year I was exploring and I was doing a lot of different things to make myself feel better. I'd gone through a breakup and I was looking for ways to heal and to feel better, and I was ready to actually go forward and do something with all that knowledge that I had gained to make an impact.
Yeah. So then how did the company, we can call it a company, but
Sure, it's a project.
Yeah.
So the project happened, I moved to LA and started hosting these gatherings on Sunday afternoons.
I like project better.
Yeah, it's a project.
Yeah.
That we'd invite people to come over and we would do some stretching, some breathing. We'd invite people to create, whether it's art, music, movement, food. And one of the things we also did was we set up a table where we would make bracelets for each other.
Yeah.
And then I get calls from people saying, hey, can I get one for my mom or my sister or my boyfriend, or I need another one for myself. And at a certain point, I couldn't keep up with the requests, so I launched a website, hired some people to start scaling it, and off we've gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And we offer the tools so that you can also make it for yourself.
Yeah.
And for your friends and family, so you could host a similar gathering. This is perfect for Thanksgiving dinner or a brunch that you're having. You after brunch, you sit around. Instead of just talking about the weather or the sports scores, you can go a little deeper and have something that's actually going to make a real impact in the lives of you and your friends.
Yeah, I like that. I know. I'm actually fortunate that Chris gave me a nice case that I'm taking back with me, a kit.
You have a
so
kit.
I'm sure I'll be making some. Yeah, that's cool. Stories. You and I were talking a little bit in here about a book that you told me you're going to write it.
Yeah,
yes?
we're going to put together a collection of stories, whether it's a book or whether it's some other format. But we want to, because I think it's inspiring when we hear other people's stories and what they're going through. So we're going to put that out there, and then we're also going to provide some more tips and tools on finding your own word and how to help other people find their word.
Yeah, great. What's 1 or 2 stories that kind of really resonate with you?
One that I actually
and you can kind of tell them in anonymity.
Yeah, just started. there was, I just started the project, and I went to visit a friend of mine who's the CEO of a talent agency
Right.
in LA. And when I was waiting, his assistant was like, "Hey, can I get you anything?" I'm like, "Maybe a coffee." But I said, "Hey, what's your word?" And took her through the process, and she said, "My word is self, because I just ended a 6-year relationship a month ago, and I really need to focus on myself." And I said, "Oh, wow, well, thank you for sharing that." Made the bracelet for her. She goes in before I went to go meet with the CEO. And then when I went to meet with the CEO, he said, "Oh my gosh, like I'm so happy that you made her this bracelet. I had no idea that she was going through this, and she's the person that I rely on. I see her multiple times a day, but because we're so busy, we never had a chance to connect on this thing that is obviously the most important thing that she's going through, and I want to be able to support her on that."
And that's at the core of leadership, right?
Yeah, is knowing what people around you are going through. And then he hired us to make bracelets for his entire company. After that. So that was a very pivotal moment. And very memorable, because it's shocking that someone that you spend so much time with, that you've known for years, could be going through something so big, and you would have no idea. But the simple question, because he said in 2 minutes you know more about her than I have in all this time.
That's it. And we were talking to some of the Jackrabbit principles, seek support. That's it right there, right? You know, just to go a little deeper and just ask for one word.
Asking a question
just opens up a wonderful relationship, right? A wonderful conversation. Well, that's
it's,
your mission, right?
It's code for what's most important and what are you going through.
That's cool.
That was a powerful one. I remember there was something we saw on Instagram. So if you go on Instagram, we're at @myintent or #myintent. You'll see a ton of stories. And we saw one. It was the bracelet said courage on it, and also had a couple of needles next to it. Like, so she was going into surgery, and the caption said something to the effect of, "Hey, my friend made me this bracelet with the word courage on it, and I begged the hospital staff to let me keep it on because I knew I needed it as I was going through the biggest challenge of my life." And that really struck a chord, to know that, you know, the simple product that we're making is with people during some of their toughest moments. You know, that they're fighting. I actually just got back from giving a workshop at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City. And it was an honor and a privilege to be able to share this with the people that are on the front lines of helping us, you know, get our health back.
It's really good stuff. So what's next? Anything else?
What's next is pulling this content together. We have over 15,000 people that have already gotten the maker kits, and they're out there, you know, doing this for the local community, and I want to build content and a tech platform to support them, and their ability to make the most difference in their communities.
Santa Monica Airport flying over top of us. I think that is so cool. That is so cool. Well, I have certainly enjoyed getting to know you, and, you know, hopefully this will be the beginning of a long friendship.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that Connie connected us, and you know, anything that you would want to offer to our viewers as we sign off?
Just check us out at myintent.org, or, you know, connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and hopefully you found your word. If there's anything we can support you with, message us on those platforms. And we'll you know, chat more soon.
That's it. And look to inspire other people, right?
Absolutely.
And yourself. And slow down, everybody. Slow down, right?
Take a few deep breaths, and you know, one of our other core beliefs is that the answer and the inspiration lies from within. That if we take enough time to slow down and to pause, we'll figure out the answers. You know, our intuition is very strong, but if we're so busy, we don't have an opportunity to tap into that power.
It's in the pause, right? It is in the pause. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I did. Chris, you're doing good work out there. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for joining another edition of 11 Minutes to Inspiration. Go out and inspire and be well.
Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us for another episode of 11 Minutes to Inspiration. I thought it was just great. I had a really good time doing this one. I'll trust you gained value and insight as you continue to create and harness the tremendous power of inspiration. And as always, I'm wishing you much happiness and fulfillment on this wonderful journey called life.